So Luang Por began his talk with a little quotation from the Buddha. Cittang dantang sukhavahang. The well-trained mind brings us happiness. We've all been born as human beings, manusa. Manusa really means superior beings. And we're superior because in nature we have great potential to develop good things. We have a physical body, the material part of our human existence. That's part of nature, and it has its functions. It's subject to arising and ceasing, birth and death. It's subject to degeneration. That's normal, that's natural for the human body. This body is made up of physical elements. It's 6 foot long, 3 foot wide, and made up of physical elements, chemicals, different properties of nature, which combine together, and we call this a body. Or you could say it's a mixture of the 4 main elements of earth, air, fire and water. The Buddha's word is Ṭhitadhammo. The body is Ṭhitadhammo, it's form or materiality. We're born as human beings, and we also have other virtues and qualities. We have this body, but we also have the qualities of mindfulness and intelligence, sati and panya. This quality of sati, it's a mental quality. Everyone has it, but it's a quality that needs to be trained and developed through the practice. So we are training ourselves, training our instincts, training our intuitive awareness to improve it. We have to train, we have to practice, and to do that we have to first of all listen to the teachings to gain knowledge, understanding of what we need to do and how things are. So listening is very important, part of the practice. And once we've listened to the teachings, we need to follow up with some contemplation and use our discernment, our intelligence to bring the mind to understand what we've heard. And we must observe the truth, use our skills to observe and particularly understand what is useful and beneficial to us as humans and what is harmful and disadvantageous to us. What is really useful for life as a human being? Life needs energy, but energy can be both useful and harmful, depending on how you approach it and what you do. Take fire, for example. Fire can be a very useful natural element that we can harness to do many good things. But at the same time, it can be very destructive and out of control. So we have to learn how to treat these elements with care, with circumspection, so that they can be beneficial to us. Because if we're careless, then things come back on us and hurt us and cause us trouble. So to become careful and heedful, we listen to good advice, we listen to the teachings. And this is the way human beings begin to develop their understanding. And it leads us to understand the place we live, the environment. We live in this environment has resources, natural resources, but we have to learn how to use them well, use them properly for the benefit of everyone. They can be useful to us, but they can also be harmful to us if we don't understand. So we need to cultivate our mindfulness and clear comprehension so that we interact with our environment skillfully, so that we know what is appropriate in our behavior and what's not. This body is a part of nature. This mind is also a part of nature. Together they form what we call a human being. And we need mindfulness and wisdom to relate properly to our own body and mind. We need to learn what is the best way to develop as a human being, how to develop this body skillfully, how to develop this mind skillfully. We have to learn how to live and develop a healthy body, but also develop our health and well-being mentally as well. When the mind is agitated, the experience is that it becomes darker and more unhappy. Of course, it's not possible to have an absolutely still mind all the time. That's not natural. Mental formations, or sankhara, involve movement, the arising and ceasing of mental states. They arise and then they pass away. Some are positive, some are negative. But what we need to do is cultivate mindfulness and awareness so that we know these mental states as they are. When we know them as they are, then we can see them as just parts of nature. Just like clouds that come into the sky, periodically they'll cover over the sun, so the light of the sun can't reach the earth. And then they pass and the sunlight comes through again. So we need that mindfulness to see that's the nature of mental states. Our teachers brought us to practice with our minds and make them firm, because we need to be firm in the midst of a world that is always moving and agitated and sometimes chaotic. We become firm when we establish our understanding in truth. When we see and know the truth, that makes the mind firm. We live in society, and there are lots of different kinds of people in society who behave in different ways, have different values. So we have to know, each one of us, how to be patient with that. Because when we're patient, we can integrate with others and live with many different kinds of people. The word for patience the Buddha gave is khanti, and he said this quality of patience or endurance makes what we do beautiful. Beautiful in the spiritual sense. So we've been born as humans, and as humans we have this great potential, but we have to realize our potential through the practice. We must practice and adjust to the world and the way things are, and we have to learn from our experience so that what we do really benefits us on the deepest level. We have to know this place or this environment that we're living in. Then we can really benefit from it. We know what's useful there, what we have that's useful, and we know what is dangerous and harmful. We have to learn what our duty is, and we have to develop right view or right understanding to guide us. Right view, samadhi, is like a light that dispels the darkness of delusion. It takes away our mental suffering. When we have right view, we're viewing things in the right way, we act, we speak in the right way for the end of suffering. It gives rise to a feeling of correctness or just rightness. And with that we get peace. The intoxication with the world, the mental agitation will disappear. It also gives rise to a feeling of friendliness and warmth to other people. And it gives us this mental immune system that stops us from falling into suffering. So we practice to gain release from suffering and bring our lives, our human lives, to completion. Itjo manusa patilapo. Being born as a human is the greatest wealth. So please take this opportunity to develop your life in the best possible way. I know it's not easy because we all have our weaknesses, our blemishes and faults, but we have to practice. I've just arrived last night. This is my first day in Australia on this visit, and I'll be here for a week or so. So I'll have the chance to share with you some words of advice and encouragement. I feel as if we are like relatives traveling together to seek the truth. We're relatives because we all have many experiences in common. We all experience birth, aging, sickness and death. I'm over 80 years that I've been in the world now, and I notice that the body is constantly degenerating. You could say that everything is now falling apart at this age. But we have to accept this. It's the truth of impermanence. And when we can accept it, then we can let go and release our mind from attachment. Then we can be at peace.